A road section of 3,700 miles, 10.5 hours of racing, all the famous circuits of France, and 9 speed hill climbs in the Alps, the Massif Central and the Pyrenees. These were the ingredients of the Tour de France 1964, and the first circuit was the high-speed engine wrecker of Reims. The road section from the start at Lille was almost a formality, little more than an opportunity for everyone to get to know each other. But in most cases, both the names and the faces were familiar. Monte Carlo Victor Paddy Hopkirk and the Finnish BMC star Timo Mäkinen, for instance, needed no introduction. Other meetings were more surprising. Fancy running into you here. The field of 117 starters was nothing if not international in every sense. Italy's Alfa Romeos, driven by Blanchet of France and Madame Mendola. From Ford of Dagenham, Vic Elford and David Seagull-Morris. Again Franco-Italian, the great René Treitmann, now with Lancia. And Bernard Constant, the French Jaguar exponent. Swedish-American Bo Ljungfelt and his Mustang, but certainly he's no cowboy, and nor is his teammate Peter Harper. And these three have more in common than good looks. Terry Hunter, Val Perry and Anita Taylor. With them, the still young Swiss veteran of the Triumph team, Jean-Jacques Tunner. And the North Country pair, Bradley and Fiddler. While Dutchman Robbie Slottermacher's partnership with Hunter keeps the Triumph team as typically European as the Tour's ubiquitous organizer Maurice Henry. At each circuit, the cars raced in categorized groups for periods of not less than 1 hour. Competition was intense throughout, for the victors of the Tour de France are those who cover the greatest distance in the time available. In the early stages, the Cortinas led, and the Minis set about their crowd-winning giant killer act with zest and abandon. And their heads lifted, if not rolled. Come in, number 18, your time is up. As Mabs, Mäkinen and Hopkirk leave the circuit, they reckon they've had their money's worth, and Pauline Mayman is close on their heels. But pace is a two-edged sword, and Buchanan's Cooper has a broken piston. In the second race, the heavy metal entry reads like a zoo catalogue with Jaguar alongside Mustang. And not surprisingly, the Mustangs make the running. Unfortunately, Sir Gawain Bailey's Galaxy suffers a premature eclipse. And the Mustangs gallop home in the order Proctor, Harper, Ljungfelt, the pattern in this class soon established. Race 3 and the smaller Grand Touring category. And here's a bitter setback to the Triumph team's high hopes. Bill Bradley's Spitfire inexplicably holds a piston, and that's that. Meantime, out on the circuit, battle is immediately joined between the other Spitfires and the much modified and special-bodied French Renault Alpines. Robbie Slottermacher sets the pace. As planned, Tunner follows closely. Anita Taylor, sister of Grand Prix driver Trevor, shows a strong family resemblance. And Slottermacher really has a go. Tunner disposes of Berard's NSU to get at the Alpines. The pits are busy. A broken windscreen here, Another broken heart there. But the struggle between Spitfire and Alpine rages on. At the end of the 2 hours at Reims, the honours are even between what will apparently be the principal contenders in the class. But one thing is clear, the anticipated battle will be fierce. From Reims to Rouen, with a hill climb on the Col de Bramont for good measure on the way. Now there were only 2 Spitfires running, for Valperi and Anita Taylor, with the car entered by Sterling Moss, had run a barely. The specification of the 2 survivors was virtually that which had run so well earlier in the year at Le Mans, although gearboxes and brakes were exactly as on the showroom models. Slaughtermarker's quite a showroom model himself. The BMC ranks were also depleted. But Paddy Hopkirk was still on the front rank of his race, and on the interesting and quite hilly circuit of Rouen-les-Essarts, the duration was to be 1 hour. At the Virage du Nouveau Monde, the Mini Brigade enjoys itself. The order, Mabs, Mackinnon, Hopkirk. Commentator and crowd love it, as the articulated mini-train finishes Hopkirk, Mackinnon, Mabs. Maurice Henry is happy to wave the flag for them, and anyone else in his extraordinary event. And now only Constance Jaguar is up with the 4 Mustangs and ahead of graders. Bobrovsky's Jaguar makes a discouraging start. Little Ford, Vic Elford's Cortina, and Big Ford, the 3 Mustangs in Alan Mann's official team. Genta's Lancia loses time stationary. Constance Jaguar loses ground at speed. And although the Lancia rejoins, the Italians do not show well in the big touring car. No matter how hard they try. Hazard, having lived up to his name, rejoins, and the 3 Mustangs finish this time Ljungfelt, Proctor, Harper. In the small GTs, Andrew Hedges MG joins the Spitfire Alpine party. And with the MG leading, Slaughtermarker and Tunner let the opposition make the running for a while. The independent rear suspension of the Spitfire makes Slaughtermarker's skid school experience almost superfluous at Rouen's hairpin. But some drivers are by now wishing they'd served an engineering apprenticeship. Tunner, as usual, is fast, neat and tidy. But Robbie Slaughtermarker is determined to make a fight of it all the way. And his relentless pressure on his principal rivals begins to pay off. Andrew Hedges with the MG leads the bigger class, but in front of the stands, Robbie Slaughtermarker again takes the Spitfire into the lead of his class and goes on to lap most of the opposition. Tunner, second in the class. The big GTs make a splendid spectacle at Rouen. It's a battle between Carroll Shelby's Cobras, there's Maurice Trantino leading, and the Ferraris. With Porsche intervention from time to time. And eventually, Trantino won. Le Mans, of course, is a must for this event, with 2 hours of racing on the full 13.4-kilometre circuit in the third stage of the tour. Here, the service crews really go into action, but preceded by a 3-hour road section from Caen, the drivers had to go hard to give the mechanics the time they might need. Apart from the engine stress of the constant circuit work, tyres are the principal problem of the tour, with a complete change obviously essential before and after every circuit. The BMC team service the MG while John Sprinsel sits it out. Ray Henderson, Triumph's chief mechanic, leads his team into action while Turner and Hunter compare notes. Meantime, the outside world and its affairs mean little to those who ride the bandwagon of the Tour de France. Le Mans is sufficiently wide to allow the whole touring category a single mass start. There they go, from Mustangs to Minis. A treble Citroën Presse, of course. What must be one of the most famous clocks in Europe shows 8 minutes to go to the GT start. Just time for a brief word or two. The GTO Ferraris of Tavano and Bianchi alongside Trent's Cobra. Slaughtermarker quickly settles down, as he did in the 24-hour race. Turner is not far behind. But others are less well placed. This Swiss-driven Ferrari was caught with the wrong tyres on, a clear demonstration of the necessity for efficient planning and service during the tour. Robbie Slaughtermarker laps steadily at 5 minutes 7 seconds, 98 miles an hour. The Spitfires achieve 7,000 RPM in top gear, just 125 miles an hour on their straights. And their performance is now causing a stir amongst the continental opposition.